Hello ladies, MBs and gentlemen. This video, as its title would suggest, is about a phrase you will undoubtedly hear if you fail to tolerate someone else's intolerance. So much for the tolerant left, or words to that effect. People who are homophobic, transphobic, misogynistic, racist, ableist, classist, or practitioners of any other kind of social bigotry will often blurt this phrase out whenever you refuse to tolerate their homophobia, transphobia, misogyny, racism, ableism, classism, or other social bigotries, triumphant that in their supreme intelligence they have exposed you as a dirty, filthy hypocrite. This argument isn't just childish nonsense, it's also obviously childish nonsense that shouldn't require explaining, but this is the internet where dense people like to congregate, so I'm going to explain it anyway. The reason progressive people tend to advocate tolerance of LGBTQ people, women, people of different races and nationalities, people with disabilities and people from different backgrounds and so on and so forth, is because there is no reason not to tolerate those people. Being transgender or being black, etc., doesn't harm anyone in any way. It doesn't infringe on anyone's human rights, so there is no justification for not tolerating such people. Being homophobic, transphobic, misogynistic, racist, ableist, classist, etc., does harm people, and it often does infringe upon people's human rights when it comes in the form of incitement, threats, harassment, group defamation, or when it is enacted in law. This is why progressive people largely don't tolerate these things. It's not complicated and it's not arbitrary. If it's harmless, it gets tolerated. If it's harmful, it doesn't. Right-wing bigots aren't a group defined by their skin colour or by their sexual preferences or by their gender identity or anything similarly harmless. They are defined by their attitudes and prejudices and the behaviour informed by those attitudes and prejudices. As such, they do not belong in the same category as protected ethnic groups or gender sexual minorities or any other protected groups. For more information on this subject, I would suggest reading Karl Popper's Paradox of Tolerance. Though I've got to be blunt, what I've explained here has always seemed pretty obvious without the necessity for academic reading. I should also add that I don't personally consider myself to be the tolerant left. I'm perfectly comfortable with my intolerance of bigoted scum, precisely because intolerance of such people is not merely acceptable, but is necessary if a better society is to be brought into being. As such, you have precisely zero chance of guilt-tripping me into helping you promote your repulsive beliefs through facile appeals to the vague concept of tolerance. Thanks for watching.